Having trouble with your garage door? Problem solved. Call Direct Service Overhead Garage Door Company. We're your go-to team for garage door repair, new garage doors, openers, and more. We offer same-day service. We're always ready when you need us. Best of all, you can book your appointment online or talk to a live operator 24/7. No machines, no waiting. So whether it's a broken spring or a brand new garage door, trust the local experts at Direct Service Garage Doors. Call us today or visit directserviceoverhead.com.
It feels so good to be back. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Tusk Talk with Ty, Monday Night Lights. Live alongside me is, of course, none other than Mr. Tim Neal. Tim, how's it going, brother?
It's going great, man. It's been a good Monday for once.
Yeah.
How about you?
Busy morning. Oh my gosh. I had to hold both my kids out of school because they had a doctor's appointment, dental appointment. Just a busy day. Had to get stuff done around here. So yeah, looking forward to this one. We tonight is packed. Okay, we got a lot to discuss, and we could typically stretch out 3 or 4 topics tonight. I think we've got like 5, and in fact, we could probably even go to 6 if we really wanted to. It is. I'm really excited about tonight. So make sure as you guys are hopping in here, like, share, subscribe. YouTube's up to its old tricks again. It is not publishing. It's not pushing notifications like it once was. I don't know why it does that. I'm trying to follow
the TV in the background.
It might be the TV in the background. You never know, as picky as YouTube is. So if you'd be so kind, feel free to retweet the Tusk Talk with Ty Twitter if you're not already, or I'm sorry, X, if you're not already following it. Do that, follow it, and then retweet it. Sharing is caring. Malik Acuff says poor Kentucky. Yeah, we're going to talk about some Kentucky. Woo! I am Prue. Merry Christmas, Ty and Tim. Merry Christmas to you. I am Prue. Thank you for saying Merry Christmas, by the way. I'm a stickler like that.
Yeah.
Ty and Tim are my heroes. Harros.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Hey, close enough. You know what though? I get it. I've been getting what do you call that when the phone messes up the predictable predict text or whatever?
It drives me insane.
It's crushing me right now, bro. I'm kind of looking silly in some of these group chats. All right, we're gonna start. Oh yeah, shout out to Patreon supporters. We got the cards handed out. We have cards that are headed out. I'm gonna get those shipped out hopefully this week. Man, isn't that an awesome Christmas? A Merry Christmas from Tusk Talk with Ty, just for being a Patreon supporter. Someone, well, his name is on here. Brian Frazier is getting this gorgeous tech camo foil Brandon Allen autographed card. That's for Patreon. That's just for being a legendary status member. You get a shot at winning one of those 3 bad boys. It's an autographed card. Okay. Yeah, so shout out to November Patreon supporters. You guys are awesome. Let's start off.
We actually have to get together. We've said this on multiple shows, on multiple Monday nights.
Yeah,
you have my TB card. I have your bottle of dough.
Yeah.
Talk about a Christmas present.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, it's a switcheroonie there. Let's get to the first topic here. Monster Cruder. He's a monster cruder joining the staff. It's being reported by Matt Zenitz of CBS Sports. And I'm going to share the old screen-a-rooney here, if it'll participate here. There we go. Arkansas is, in fact, he tweeted this on December 5th. And again, this is Matt Zenitz. I thought that said 69 followers. I was like, oh God, did I just get got right on live chat or live show? 69,000 followers. Yeah. So works at CBS Sports. Arkansas is in fact expected to hire Florida State's David Johnson as its running backs coach. Sources tell CBS Sports Johnson had worked at FSU since 2020, previously worked in the SEC at Tennessee in 2018, 2019. He also worked alongside Silverfield at Memphis under Norvell as the runner. I believe it was the same capacity, running back coach, while Norvell was the running game coordinator, I believe.
I can actually tell you that 1 second.
So, yeah, correct me if we'll do live corrections. I certainly know.
Running back coach at Memphis under Norvell.
Yeah, okay. And it was alongside Silverfield, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Silverfield basically directed the run game. So the boys are together once again. Now, this is big, okay? This potentially, okay, assuming, again, Matt Zenitz is reporting this. We don't have for sure that he's signed on the dotted line yet, but it sounds like it's like a 95% done deal. Hell, he may already – I see players are already – hell, Rodney Hill changed his X banner to this guy. Rodney Hill –
he recruited Rodney Hill.
Right. So, and I've already seen some other people, saying, goodbye, thanks, whatever. So this is a done deal. And to me, this is, I don't know, man. Like, I'm surprised more people aren't, holy crap, they just did what? This guy's a monster down in the swamp, the nasty swamp of Florida. He's getting out of it. He's a monster in that region. Alabama, Mississippi. He's got a Louisiana background. Can get into Alabama. I mean, this dude is kind of the real deal here in terms of recruiting, and obviously he's got that past relationship with Silverfield. And then you've done a little more research on him as well. You said something a second ago that just I had no idea.
Yeah, well, there's a couple of things. One, he's being credited as the driver behind FSU's number 11 national ranking in 2024, national recruiting ranking. In 2024, that's pretty much being put on him. He has several 1,000-yard backs, Toafili, and I want to say Benson, both 1,000-yard backs under him at FSU. And what's interesting, he actually is come up through the high school ranks. He coached high school, he coached Division III. And then he moved into FBS. In high school, he coached Leonard Fournette, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
You gave this guy a start and then he's a number 1 overall pick. That's pretty amazing. And then when he left the school that he coached Leonard Fournette at, he joined Millsaps College in Division III and was the special teams and wide receivers tight ends coach. And they won 4 straight Southern Collegiate Athletic Conference titles. He wasn't the head coach, but he's part of that staff that won 4 straight titles there before moving into FBS with Tennessee. So, I mean, that's pretty exciting to me. Yeah, somebody with that kind of experience. Well, I guess it was with Memphis before Tennessee, but to have that kind of experience, to win titles, to coach 1,000-yard backs over and over again, to have someone like Leonard Fournette on your resume, to be responsible for the number 11 recruiting class in the nation. All of these are good things. I don't see anything bad, actually. And in fact, let's see. I want to say the ball security under his ball security rankings under when he's at FSU were really good too, which is something we need to focus on. But I can't find where I had the actual numbers for that. I'll have to dig it back up here in a minute.
People try to, and that is important because at the end of the day, the position coach is who, like, the offensive coordinator or the head coach will coordinate like what they want to do in terms of like the drills, right? But it's up to the running back coach. And I only know this because I saw it at Arkansas. The running back coach basically guides and instructs, the assistants around them what to do. Like they use these long sticks with like a punching glove on the end, and they try and knock the ball loose. Even when Kendall Briles was here, the running back coach when it comes to ball security from the running backs, it all comes down to what that coach is, how he's constructing, how he's coordinating with his assistants as far as what they're doing to help protect, to not fumble the damn ball. And we obviously, although Arkansas running backs this year, I think only fumbled man, I don't know. I feel like
I only care that it was at bad times.
It was at bad times, which is what hurts you on your PFF grade. By the way, people ask about the fumble grade. They'll hit you. It hurts more based on where you fumble the ball, or if it was on like a 3rd and short or whatever, you'll get hit hard with their fumble score on PFF. So sometimes I used to think, well, okay, they had a low grade. That means they fumbled the ball a ton. No, it's not just that. It's about where and when you fumble the ball. I actually think that's pretty neat. But yeah, Florida State definitely. This feels like Norvell was given another year, so maybe this is a prominent staff member leaving, because it's the Titanic and the damn thing sinking. Norvell is certainly on his last leg there. He cannot survive anything close to what they did, this year at FSU. I think they're gonna have to get to the playoffs really for him to keep his job. But it is Florida State, not quite of its former glory, but it's still a name brand school in college football, very recognizable logo. But yeah, I'm excited about this hire. He's got a background everywhere. He's also he had a find the kid here. He had Osamane Krama committed and signed or enrolled June 2nd, 2025. This is a 6 foot 205-pound running back out of Leesburg, Georgia, part of the 2025 class, top 5 running back in the country. So, yeah, I mean, it goes without saying, this is potentially a pretty big hire. Now, people in chat are talking about, well, it's all about the Benjamins. Okay, yeah, fine. There are plenty of schools, though, that have money and do not recruit at an incredibly high caliber. And this guy, I think, is going to help with that. I think he's going to help get you back on we know he's certainly going to go east of the Mississippi and do some damage down there. I don't know. This is, to me, a really damn good hire, Tim.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I looked up those numbers real quick. He had in the last 4 seasons a total of 4 fumbles lost by running backs. One of those seasons was 0 on 512 carries. No fumbles lost on 512 carries.
Like I said, the running back coach, they leave that to the running back coaches to how they do the day-to-day on ball security.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm excited. Hopefully whatever he does with the running backs, they can just do with the entire team, since everybody seems to fumble at Arkansas. So
yeah. Everybody, receivers, quarterbacks, I mean, name a position group. I'm sure the offensive line somehow fumbled the damn ball. We just missed it. What do you think of this? I didn't make this a topic. Honestly, it's a miss on my part, but that's right. Hunter Yurchik said that there was a 7-figure NIL commitment from a donor at the Louisville game. Now, this happened when it's kind of old news, obviously, at this point, but I did think this was interesting. I think I touched on it in the post game or somewhere. I feel like I've talked about this somewhere. This is where he said it when he said they talked to new coach Silverfield for 5 minutes and committed 7 figures. Is that right? Yeah.
That's the one. I mean, that speaks to people respond to energy. You don't see good energy from Hunter Yurchak. He's not raising any money. You never saw energy from Sam Pittman, but you watched Silverfield walk down the student row there, the front row of the students, screaming in their faces, high-fiving them all. I mean, he looked like Musselman with a shirt on. So I mean, I think energy produces results to some degree, and definitely when it comes to money, people want to see that you're fired up and you're going to do something, and that you can fire up the people around you. So it doesn't surprise me at all that somebody met him, fed off his energy, and said, "Hell yeah, I'm going to commit to this guy and give him some money and see what he can do."
I said this somewhere. I know I said this somewhere. It must have been the post game. I think what he does, what Silverfield does, I think he shoots for the moon, or even better, shoots for Mars.
Yeah.
And okay, great, right? Oh, he's going to fail getting to Mars. Damn, he didn't get it. Yeah, but he may have set up a colony on the other side of the moon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you see what I'm saying? Like, he may not make it to Mars. He may not get Arkansas to a playoff. I don't know, but maybe he can get you to 7-8 wins. The thing that I think Arkansas fans are going to have to kind of live with this guy I call it over promising, under delivering.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's not the right way to put it. It's just that he's definitely he wants to set up a colony on Mars. That's what he wants to do at Arkansas.
Well, I think his vision and our vision might be different and might need some translation. Because when he says people are going to be blown away by the staff we're putting together, and then you see the staff he's putting together, which I know we're going to talk about the rest of them in a second. And as Arkansas fans, we're like, a lot of those names were like, okay, I mean, it seems okay, or why are you excited about that? But for him, he's like, I just shot the moon. And so there might be some translation problems there, or some things that he sees in guys that we don't necessarily see in them, because as obviously as Arkansas fans, we got hung up on big names. The only name we really wanted, James Franklin. The only basketball coach we could ever have is Calipari. Yeah. And so if he doesn't bring in super name coordinators, then people seem disappointed. But really, when you take a dive into some of their numbers, they are excellent hires. Actually, they might actually be able to pull off some things that we've needed for the last 6 years. So it might just be a translation of, this is why I'm excited. And people just don't really understand it, but they will when they see the product on the field. I think
exactly. I think that's exactly it. And you can implode your own message when you keep over promising. And like, I think it was Hunter Yurchek that had said, you're going to see how you're going to see where we're at money wise. Now, this isn't verbatim, this is an exact quote, but based on who we hire as assistants and coordinators. Maybe that was Silverfield. One of the two said that.
Yeah.
And even though I'm really big on this running back, and we're going to go down, by the way, we're going to talk about all the other hires too. We're going to go down this list. I get where it's a little bit like, well, wait a minute, this is not like, I thought we were going to bring in, oh, son of a bitch, I thought we were going to get John Gruden to help with I think he's going to come be our offensive analyst. What's going on here? Throwing a bone to the Gruden people. Or we're going to keep Bobby Petrino, into some capacity. Like, we're going to get whoever we want off this coaching staff. But what? We're bringing in guys from Memphis, and we're bringing in a defense coordinator from Florida, from a team that lost its head coach, and not exactly a high-end coach here. What are we doing? Those are the conversations that are being had in some of my group chats. I don't know about you, but they are there's a lot of these are underwhelming hire quotes, and it's like, I don't know.
I'll be honest, the one that did shock me, the one that does shock me a little bit, is that we didn't keep Mateos, the number one PFF graded offensive line in the conference. But then you look, I mean, if you were going to go get somebody to replace Mateos, you got the Ohio State offensive line coach.
Well, he was the assistant.
Hard to on that one, right?
Yeah, he was the assistant offensive line coach.
Okay.
So he wasn't, as far as I know. Again, we're going to go down that list here in a second. Where is he on my list here? Myers, Jeff Myers was an Ohio State assistant offensive line coach, is what I've read. And then you're bringing Marcus Johnson, who was a run game coordinator and offensive line coach at Memphis,
and a pro offensive lineman.
Yeah. So, I guess from and I haven't, like, these names just kind of came across my desk today, and I have not, like I said, I've been swamped this morning. I've had a lot more time to evaluate David Johnson than I have the rest of these guys. But I'm with you though. I thought Mateos, he was going to stick it out. I really thought they're going to keep him here. Because like you said, the job he did with the offensive line, man, I don't know.
Turnaround from what we had before he got here. I mean, it was very obvious that he had a huge impact on that offensive line. Another year, who knows how they would be playing. So yeah, it was a surprise.
Marcus was Ohio State. Myers was Memphis. Did I get them backwards? Like I said, I just got these names. And I copy and pasted a text that I got. I have Marcus Johnson as the offensive line coach and running game coordinator in Memphis. Maybe, I don't know, Tim can fact check that on me. I'm pretty sure I've probably got them flipped. Like I said, don't know a ton about either of these guys. But we know that that David Johnson, going back to the running back coach, again, his background, it is crazy good. And if we're gonna gripe and complain about all the other hires, you've got to give this one credit. David Johnson is absolutely, like, this to me is enough that I'm probably going to move that grade up a little bit on Silverfield, even though we've got to go down the rest of these names here. Did you find it? Did we get it backwards?
Marcus Johnson, assistant O-line coach.
Right. Was he at Memphis?
Ohio State.
Ohio State. I did. I copy and pasted them backwards.
No worries.
Appreciate all the retweets, by the way. Thank you guys. Make sure as you're coming in, like and share and all that good stuff. Make sure you hit the notification bell. Notification button. Yeah. So moving on to the rest of this staff, the staff so far, Arkansas staff so far. Ron Roberts to coach the defense. So this was the Patreon video that I dropped. When the hell did I drop that? Thursday or Friday? Talking about, kind of putting together the connection here, what Arkansas is trying to do. It's pretty clear to me, and again, Patreon, people who watch the video already know where I'm about to go. It's pretty clear to me they want to put Florida and that region on their pipeline, on their list of pipelines. Very clear to me. Getting a guy like Ron Roberts. No, I know the Florida did come out and they're going to retain one of their defensive line coaches. The defensive line coach is going to be retained at Florida. But Ron Roberts is going to come here and coach the defense and be a linebacker coach. As far as I know, they don't have the rest of the defense put together yet. So we're waiting on the D-line, waiting on the secondary, or the corners and the safeties coaches. I'm sure they're going to bring on some analysts. And then Chad Lunsford. This was a hell of a hire. Chad Lunsford is going to come coach the special teams, who's got a very good background. Some people are a little bit surprised they were able to bring Lunsford here. I was going to pull up his list of. So this guy was the head coach at Georgia Southern for a little while, and then he was at FAU in 2024, where he did everything. He was assistant head coach. Then 2024 he was interim head coach, special teams and tight ends, and then at Auburn 2025 he was the special teams coach. So, again, pretty, and he's not I know someone texted me and goes, "Oh, great, another John L. Smith." John L. had a background. I like the dude who was a head coach. It's whatever. What was it, Eastern Michigan or something? Pretty prominent background. And it's the same thing with this guy. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, Scott Fountain. What was his background? That guy was not. He was terrible. There's no doubt. He's great recruiter. I am to some degree, and maybe that's why you get Lunsford, because Lunsford obviously coached at Georgia Southern, coached at Auburn, did coach in Florida, so it makes sense there. But Fountain was a hell of a South Georgia recruiter, and so it had been suggested maybe they keep him on as like a recruiting coordinator only, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, we got our recruiting coordinator out of Johnson, right?
Assuming he takes the exact same role, which I'm assuming he does. I'm assuming the new running back coach will assume the same role. I'm also thinking they're going to give him a pay raise. I don't know. I don't know how. I mean, you just walked right in, and unless there's something going on at FSU that I'm unaware of. I mean, I know Norvell's coming back another year. They just walked in and pulled this guy right out, and I realize he has a history with Silverfield, but he's also got a history with Mike Norvell.
Right.
So I don't know, but maybe they're going to give him an extra, bump him up in a title. But I think he's going to be doing the exact same thing here. I mean, we know he's going to coach the running backs, but I think he's also going to be a recruiting coordinator here. So, but yeah,
well, it's two guys with emphasis in Florida, which, like you said, we obviously are going to focus on Florida and the Southeast. So.
Yeah, there's and that would explain. And I listen. I'm thankful. I was praying to God every day. Please fire Scott Fountain.
We've been praying that for 2 years at least.
Well, why is he still here? Why? What did we do to God, to the universe, to the football gods, to the Greek god, whoever? What did we do to you to keep Scott Fountain here for 6 seasons? What did we do?
I don't know, man.
Because they were horrible. Every week they got penalized or had to burn timeouts because they didn't have their. Now that was less common, but it certainly happened more than once.
They found ways to lose the ball, or new ways every week to lose the ball, or blow timeouts, or get penalized, or there was a new way to mess up every game. Game. He was a fountain of mistakes.
Scott, fountain of mistakes.
That's right.
What about the return game that was supposed to be so fantastic this year? The punt return game. What happened to that? Like, it's just, on top of the penalties, on top of burning timeouts, like, he was terrible. I get that he was a great recruiter, as we have talked about and beat people over the head with for the last, I don't know how many years. Well, I guess since, year 3, when we really started to realize, like, oh, damn, the special teams isn't getting better, actually. They're actually still just as bad as they've been the last 2 years. They just kept building. I was shocked that they kept him as long as they did. And I guess this just goes to show you that Pittman was desperate to be able to recruit that part of the country. And that's why he kept Fountain on staff. That's the only thing I could think of.
I guess.
So,
little update for you.
We have an update
on Johnson, Ohio State. Marcus Johnson.
Okay.
He was an analyst, assistant O-line coach. They credit his analytics type role for helping OSU's O-line to a 92% true pass pro rate PFF. So,
okay,
that's pretty solid.
Sounds good to me. I'll take it. I mean,
Ohio State average 0.9 sacks per game, 5th in the nation.
Wow, really? 0.9 given up?
Given
sacks?
Yep.
That's really good. I mean, I get it. And I know, too, we're going to get pushed back with, well, it's Ohio State. They get 5-star talent. It's Florida State. They get 5-star talent. Okay, sure. Fair enough. That's a good point. But to walk in, I mean, again, Rodney Hill, who was recruited by and all that, and we know his past, Rodney Hill in Florida State. I mean, before he even signed the paper, Rodney Hill makes this guy his banner on X.
Oh no, I'm talking about the Ohio State.
Oh no, I know,
okay.
But I'm pointing out, like, because it's Ohio State, because it's Florida State, because of the things that they accomplished, right? It's going to be because of the school. We've also seen big schools not recruit great. We've also seen big schools struggle, get beat out, against lesser opponents on the recruiting trail. That happens. It happens more often these days than ever. Because why? Because money. So, yeah, I it's fair. It's a fair argument to bring up that's their background. But damn, again, you're taken from some pretty big schools here. And I don't know that either of these guys are going to have a ton of success here or not, but I know that this is the start. I'm perfectly fine. Listen, I'll say this. If we were taking these guys from like Florida Atlantic,
Prairie View A&M,
App State, like, what would the comments be? So hopefully someone gets it. Like, oh, okay, no, I get what he's saying. And you want to recruit. I love that they want to go into Florida. I do. I love that. I love that David Johnson.
Alex Collins, come on.
Yeah. I love that David Johnson has been on both sides of the Mississippi and done pretty well. Again, it sounds like that whole southeast corner, like they want to carve out a piece of that pie. And we know Pittman tried, and that's the ultimate question. Can he outperform Pittman in that part of the country? Can he go down there and recruit into Georgia, Alabama? I mean, you can talk about, Florida, of course, but Mississippi. Can you go in and beat people out? Now, also, I guess it's not really fair to Pittman because Pittman wasn't financially, he didn't have the backing that that Silverfield is rumored to have, right? We're still kind of on that hypothetical dollar train. So, yeah, I think so far. Oh, and Larry Smith is going to coach the receivers. Tim Cramsey is going to follow Silverfield over from Memphis. So there's a couple of guys that are going to be back with Silverfield. What do you make of this staff so far, Tim? Like, what would are you digging it? Or are you kind of like,
I am right now. I'm interested to see the rest of the defense. I said this before. You're replacing Bobby Petrino on offense, and whether you love or hate Bobby, it was still a huge amount of yards and a huge amount of points. And I think we've done a fair job. I think the offensive coordinator averaged about 36 points a game. So it's a fair job of replacing Bobby from a points perspective. And we've got someone who's going to focus on ball control, which obviously we did not have all year long. So I dig what's happening on the offensive side of the ball. It looks like we're addressing what we have to address when you let go of an elite offense from an offensive coordinator. We did what we have to do to address that. Definitely want to see what we're going to do for a defense. I hope down the line there are some more big school success, big name, even if it's not their name, if they're coming from a tree of big names or big success, that's kind of what I want to see. I like you said, I don't want to necessarily see Lyon College or Liberty people, but I would love to see somebody with Auburn, Alabama, Ohio State, LSU, big time defensive background and places with success, because you can bring your success with you.
Yeah.
You can bring what you've learned and tinker with what you've learned and make a name for yourself. And that'd be great.
I do think if they bring over, like, I understand why they're bringing over guys from Memphis on offense. That's where Silverfield, that's where he cooks. Sure. That's his backyard. But on the defense, like you said, if we see them bringing over a bunch of Memphis guys, they're going to promote maybe an analyst to a safeties coach.
No thanks.
I'm like, that's okay. What are we doing here, Hunter and Silverfield? Like, you guys sold a big game, and you're promoting analyst, or you're just bringing over safety and corner coaches over from Memphis. And I get that that's not always a bad thing, but I would like to see Ron Roberts build a again, east of the Mississippi, staff that has, strong ties to the NFL in terms of producing guys to the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not all first round picks, but maybe a couple first rounders, second rounders, third, fourth, and maybe a couple guys that have done good in the league. That way you could sell that on the recruiting trail, because yes, money does matter. Cash is king. I get it. But some of that other stuff, believe it or not, parents they want their kids to go beyond these deals of college and the NIL. The kids are a little bit more like, oh wow, there's $100 bill in my face, I'll take that, right? The parents, believe it or not, uncles, older cousins, they get involved. I only know this from talking to people, recruits, and I mean that literally, who say that, like, yeah, but my mom and dad think this school is going to be better for me to elevate me to the next level. And yeah, you do hear them talk about getting their paper too, getting their graduating and all that, but the real conversation is, what can you do as far as developing me as an individual at that position? Are you going to move me around a whole bunch? Am I never going to get developed at any one position? Then I'm not getting drafted, and I'm not able to finish school. And then how long is this coach going to be here too? Right. That's always something, especially now, that is a big concern for players, as it always has been, but maybe more so now than ever, because we're seeing so much coaching movement. When a head coach is fired or moves on, guess what? His staff does too. So yeah, that's what I want with this staff. So far, I would say it's a solid B staff so far. And most of that simply because of David Johnson. And I kind of do like Ron Roberts. Mm-hmm. His background, I mean, he's at Florida, man. He was the guy at Florida. Maybe he can grab some of those kids that hit the portal from there and bring a couple of them here. I don't know.
Yeah, I do. I just want to see who they fill it out with. To your point, and what I was saying, as far as seeing your success and bringing it with you, the Ohio State guy is he's part of an offensive line staff that's responsible for 12 NFL linemen and 25 all-conference players. I have this number also on the running backs. Coach, might take me a minute to find his. Also 12 NFL players throughout his career, if you count Fournette from high school, which I know it's high school, but he was still his coach in high school. So 11 in college NFL players have passed through his coaching. You want that. You want someone who's been able to produce. And also
David.
19 all conference guys for the running back coach too. So
Okay, David Johnson. Okay.
Yeah, David Johnson, 11 pros, 19 all conference. And then for Johnson, the offensive line guy, Marcus, he had 12 and 25 all conference. So there's a lot of pro talent coming from these guys, or at least the staffs they're participating in. And success breeds success. You take that with you wherever you go. So I just like the defense to do the same thing.
Yeah, and we know that's where the concern is. And I don't know if this even applies anymore, but building a team from the inside out, start on the line of scrimmage. We know they did that in the high school rankings, and they're probably going to try and bring in a couple more high school kids in that February when February comes around, the final signing period. In the portal, we don't know. We fully expect more guys to hit the portal. Whatever you do here, focus on line of scrimmage, because obviously they did that on the offense, and it did wonders. They went from, they were a good offense in 2024, but they were a good total offense. They were not a good scoring offense. That changed, and a lot of that had to do with better offensive line play. A lot of that had to do with those guys, Kittler and Robinson at left tackle, moving Carmona to left guard. And then on the defensive side of things, what was the biggest issue? This team couldn't rack up hurries to save their lives.
No pressure. Yep.
No pressure. No sacks. No strip sacks. Fumble sacks. No fumble. Well, they had one fumble recovery. But, nothing dynamic. And that defensive line is where that all starts. I think their linebackers, if they can convince some of these guys to stick around, they might be okay. Yeah, you want to bring in some more. But defensive line needs an overhaul. We're going to talk about the players returning.
I was going to say, listen, because the number one recruiting thing he did was keep a first-round draft pick.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't count in the recruiting class, but the best thing he's done for that defense is keep a first-round draft pick from leaving.
Better spend big money on this D-line, or we'll still get ran through like a hot knife through butter on all levels. Merry Christmas, Ty and chat. Appreciate that. Thank you for the super chat there, Fish. Yeah, like I said, this is a big hire. Like whoever you bring in, and the secondary needs plenty of help too. We get it. And
he lost the only guy back there who could defend anybody.
Yeah, and he's going pro. I think he didn't have eligibility anyways.
No, he didn't.
But they I mean, what do you have coming back in the secondary that you're excited about? I mean, I really feel like I'm okay if they want to keep, some of those Petrino players. I realize it's going to be about scheme fit and everything. I understand that, right? Not all these guys are built to this. This is pretty much a night and day offensive shift. So, and they're going to make their changes, which is why I think they didn't keep Mateos. We'll see about the tight end coach. Don't know. They had a couple of tight ends they really liked at Memphis last year, so maybe they do bring all those guys over with the coach. But this is what you do on defense is a really big deal here, and you need to build again. This is my belief, and it's always worked in the SEC, and I think it's one of the reasons why the SEC is so dominant. Line of scrimmage, building from the inside out, because without the inside, the outside can't do shit, and we've seen that.
Yeah, if you leave your defensive backs where they have to cover a long time because you're not getting any pressure, then that's going to break down no matter how good they are.
Yeah.
And obviously if the quarterback can't, read, like Taylor Green can't read a defense.
He did there for a little bit. I mean, he was playing so much better, and it was like, damn, he's improved from a year ago. He's improved, and then he just faltered. I have no idea what happened. Sorry, my phone messed up, Ty. Do you think we bring in someone like Tim Horton, Lunny, or I don't know about Lunny's not coming here to be a tight end coach, or a former player for Arkansas recruiting in some capacity? I don't know. I have no idea, Jeremy. I don't know. I'm not opposed to it, but Lunny's not coming here to coach tight ends again. I know Tim Horton thinks highly of Arkansas, but maybe they try and bring him. I doubt it. I would say strongly doubt. At least those names mentioned. Should they? one of the things that Brett Bielema got right was hiring Barry Loney Jr. at tight end as a tight end coach. That's one of the things Brett, good old Bert, one of the things he got right, because damn, I mean, your in-state recruiting was fantastic, and you produced some pretty decent, at the high school level, produced some SEC-worthy players, and Barry Loney was able to get them all here. But no, I don't see Barry. The only way I could see Barry coming back is to be a head coach one day. That's the only way I could see him coming back to Arkansas. I know his roots here. I know his dad, legendary high school coach. I don't see that being a thing. Yeah, Randy Shannon. Yeah, bring old Randy Shannon. Yeah. KJ Jackson will be so much better. Oh, talking about the multi-scheme or the offense. Yeah. So, all right. What's
you
next?
Know who hit the portal today, right?
Oh, I do. And I
Are
don't have
get new calls to put in Malachi.
Put in Malachi. Oh my gosh. It's funny. Listen, we all get things wrong. Okay. It happens. The more you talk, the more likely you're to get some things wrong. I know I have for sure, but it is interesting to see some of the people that were dying on that hill when he was here. It was like, dude, I'm telling you, let's just pump the brakes. It was the same thing with Criswell. Actually, that's where that started, I think, was put in Criswell. I think that's actually where it started. But yeah, listen, he needs to sit in an oven and bake a couple of years. You can't be bouncing around as often as he is. All right, let's go to portal targets so far. Obviously, these aren't confirmed. You cannot officially enter the portal until January 2nd, which will be a 15-day window. But if you're a Patreon supporter, you already know a couple of these names. And I'm man, I didn't have it up. Here we go. So Josh Ford, Oklahoma State tight end. And the first mistake you're going to make when you look him up, he only had like 13 catches in 2 years. Why are we getting this guy? That's because he's more of an H-back. He's more of a blocking. He's a pure blocking back. That's what he is. And in an offense like this, where they like to downhill run, where they're going to try it, they're going to catch you sleeping. And a guy like this, 6'6", last I saw it was like 268, right at about 270. I think PFF says he's 265. This is a big bodied tight end who's coming to get your ass. 96 pass block attempts according to PFF. Now, again, keep in mind, it's going to be more in the run game where he's probably going to be utilized if he were to come here. But he's got 96 pass block attempts, 0 sacks, 0 pressures. This is a third tackle. And I think should be a pretty high priority for Arkansas to get him here. Now, again, that's in portal targets. We've got one reaction to that post. So I don't know if Patreon supporters are aware, and they should be. I've been doing this now. This is my 3rd year. Go to portal targets under Patreon. It's down there kind of halfway in, and you're going to see this list start to build up. I added another one today. I've only heard, I don't even want to say his name. Well,
Muse.
Yeah, I was debating whether or not, because I'm getting kind of some conflicting reports on Muse. Takara, I think is how you pronounce his last name. 6'3", 208 pound.
I'd say Tunkara. That's my guess.
He was offered from Memphis and Arkansas at a high school. He was a 3-star. This is a big-bodied receiver, 6'3", 208. Caught 2 of 5 passes. We have his PFF. You cannot, when a freshman doesn't have much action, do not look at his PFF grades and go, oh, he's garbage. Don't look at his numbers and say, oh, he's garbage. Got to give it time. He's got to have a larger sample size. But, yeah. Oh, I see other Mike. He's in there reacting to some of these. Yeah, that list is going to grow. And as they commit, what I do is I copy and paste those off the target list and add them over to the commit list, and then we build out the roster that way. Been doing this for 3 years. It's been a lot of fun. You don't get all the PFF stuff. I only give you, I just take the number. I don't give you I give you the grade, but I don't give you all the grades. Obviously, you need to subscribe to PFF if you want to do that. Not Patreon, PFF if you want their complete, a synopsis or a complete list of what that player is as far as his grades. So, yeah. that list will grow. But that's what we understand. There was another name. There's so many names. I would look for Sutton Smith, Memphis running back. This would be a high priority target.
I also heard the LSU offensive lineman who was the number 1 player in Arkansas last year. Number 1 high school player.
Yeah, I can't
think of his name.
Can't either off the top of my head. Maybe, yeah.
He was being targeted by Memphis. He ended up at LSU, and even former players are reaching out to him now and saying, "Hey, you need to go to Silverfield in Arkansas. Don't stick with Lane and LSU." So, come back home is what they're saying.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look into that. I do know that I shouldn't say I know. I think, listen, if Sutton Smith hits the portal, I would highly anticipate him to be a Razorback. I'll say that. And I don't think he's hit the portal yet. And I think we're obviously you can't till January 2nd, but I mean, he hasn't announced it yet, is what I'm saying. Another name was Jamari Hawkins, 5'9", 185-pound receiver at Memphis. He had 34 catches, almost 600 yards and a touchdown. He was behind Cortez Braham, who's going to graduate at Memphis. He is not coming. He's not going to follow. Someone had already asked me about Cortez. He's out of eligibility. He will not follow. So yeah, these names are going to continue to grow, and it's fun. This is what I live for, man. 15 days of chaos in the portal. I am all about this. I can't wait. So we will keep you up to date here. But obviously, the first bit of information you're going to get on these targets, you got to be a Patreon member. So you might want to stay tuned, because all the way up through, towards the end of January, it's going to be crazy. So, all right. So we already mentioned one player coming back and how big that is, in Quincy Rhodes. How about, KJ Jackson, dude? KJ Jackson is coming back, and this is kind of old news at this point. I get it, but that's a big one. That's a big one. And then Rodney Hill, he also announced that he's coming back. Keandre Johnson, Maddox Lassiter, Jalen Brown, CJ Brown, and then, as we mentioned, KJ Jackson and Quincy Rhodes.
Rhodes, I think, is the biggest deal. KJ Jackson, I'm going to be honest, I don't know that it matters. It mattered if Bobby Petrino was going to be here, because you don't have to teach someone the system from the ground up. But without Petrino, I'm not sure KJ Jackson matters. I'm afraid he might find himself like Malachi Singleton, relegated to the bench for somebody else.
Yeah. It's true.
I mean, I'm not saying he's not good. I'm not saying he's not talented. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to start. But when you change coaches and change coordinators, that kind of happens. You know what I'm saying? Is sometimes it just kind of happens. They bring in their guy. That's how Talon got here in the first place.
Yeah. They had a coaching change, coordinator change, his time at Boise State.
So that, and we got Petrino. And that's how we ended up with Talon Green. I could see, them bringing in a quarterback that they're more comfortable with. I don't know. I think he'll be in a battle to fight for his job. I'm not as excited about him. It's great to have some receivers back. It sounds like we're picking up a couple of good ones too. Rodney Hill, obviously excited to be back with his former coach that recruited him. But Quincy Rhodes is the diamond. I mean, that is a diamond to get him to stay when he could go in the first round.
Yeah, CBS Sports had reported. Now, obviously, if you update it, it's going to not have him in there. But it was reported that CBS had actually moved him up. He didn't go backwards; he went forwards. I was shocked when I looked at that. I think that was when the hell was that? Early last week, I think, where he had moved up to 16th.
Yeah,
that's Treylon Burks territory.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised, but and without a doubt, it's his length, his explosion. Didn't
He was
have
the only
that.
person who could get pressure last year.
Yeah, I think you know what? That's the one thing I don't have pulled up actually is his pass rushes or his total pass rush and his grade here. Quincy Rhodes had. Oh, that's the one thing I don't like. You click the wrong thing here and it goes berserk. Where the hell are you, brother? 24 hurries. 24 hurries, and that's Cameron Ball surprisingly had 17, which from the interior spot, that's actually pretty damn good. And he had 3 hits, but no sacks. Quincy Rhodes had 24 hurries and 7 sacks. And actually, I think ESPN had him at 8. Maybe they changed it. He didn't rack up a ton of tackles, but I mean, he is a pure pass rusher. Landon Jackson was kind of the opposite, although Landon Jackson had to operate with more of a 3 front, and Quincy got the advantage of more of a 4 front in terms of guys.
Landon was double teamed the entire season. So,
well, yeah, like I said, I mean, it was a 3 front, and it gave those offensive line. Yeah, they had an extra guy that could deal with Jackson. Curious to see how he grows. Him and Drew Sanders both in the NFL. I think Sanders is out for the year, but yeah, I'm excited. I like it. Like Arkansas just does not produce enough defensive linemen into the NFL. They just haven't. You know, I mean, Darius Philon. What was the guy's name that blew up his senior year? Shit. That's gonna kill me. Interior defense.
I know who you're thinking of, and I can't.
Amari. Oh, shit, I can't think. It's there, but it's not. But anyways, they just don't produce enough there. And of course, Drew Sanders is more of he's not exactly what you'd think of. But Landon Jackson, and I thought Rhodes was gone, man. And you're right. Here's the thing about Quincy Rhodes coming back. Why this is such a big deal. Maybe that helps you bring in a defensive line coach who, I mean, you got to feel pretty damn good when you have someone like that on that defensive line and you get to coach him. And then you get to take a little bit of credit if he is a first-round draft pick next year. You get to take a little bit of credit because there's certainly going to be people like us that are looking at these numbers and looking at who they're responsible for the way that you did. You know, so it's certainly something that could be a pretty big career move for someone. Maybe not necessarily a P4 coach, but maybe if it is an up-and-comer, a hot name that's an up-and-coming defensive line coach, having someone like Quincy Rhodes up on that defensive line is big.
I think it also, I'm just from what you talked about earlier, I think it's also a big deal to recruit cornerbacks and linebackers and say, look, in coverage, you're not going to be in coverage forever. We are keeping a guy who's an NFL talent who's going to be rushing the quarterback. And, you know, if we can stock 2 more on the defensive line, you guys are going to be able to show out in the secondary.
Yeah.
So I think maybe we've done a horrible job as a school of evaluating the talent. Like the way that I approach EA college football, I'll just tell you the way that I approach EA college football, I recruit guys that all I want is speed. If they have 90 plus speed, I just recruit a bunch of safeties and I put them in at corner and linebacker. And then I get my 85 to 88 speed linebackers and I put them on the defensive line. And that's how I recruit. And it feels like Arkansas recruited a bunch of tall cornerbacks and didn't really care if they had skills. So now this coaching staff has to go through these cornerbacks that are left over and go, okay, a bunch of you are 6'1", 6'2", but do you actually have cover skills? And were you just poorly coached, or are you really just tall idiots on the field? And they're going to have to figure that out, you know, and see what they actually need.
You know what's wild? Julian Neal, who, yeah, I mean, he's like 6'2", 6'3", 210 pounds.
Yeah.
He also made his way up to the top 25 on CBS's first round mock draft.
Yeah, and I love watching that guy play. I really hope the most success for him. Not just because of the last name, but I'm just saying, if Julian Neal wants to send me a jersey one of these days, I'm not going to turn it down.
His cover grade is really solid. Not elite level cover grade here, according to PFF, but I mean, you look at someone like him, he was targeted 51 times this year.
Mm-hmm.
You take that, however, sometimes you pick on a guy, sometimes you don't want anything to do with a guy, so you don't throw his way. But he gave up just 58% of those completions. He only allowed
which was a BS completion where he got pushed in the throat and then called for.
gave up the touchdown, or quote unquote, gave up the touchdown. So he should have only had 2 touchdowns allowed this year, but he's got 3. But he did end up with 8 pass breakups, which sounds not right, but I'm not sure. I don't know. Off the top of my head, I would have thought like 12, but okay, 8 PBUs and then 2 picks. Yeah, Julian Neal is going to be difficult to replace in that secondary. He's a willing tackler, which is one of the things that his report said about him. So unfortunately, you can't get him back. He doesn't have any eligibility, and even if he did, this cat might be. I don't know that he will be. And again, I want to make that perfectly clear. Tim and I are not saying that had Quincy Rhodes gone, he was for sure a first-round pick. Certainly sounded like he was gaining momentum. Julian Neal, last I'd seen, was looked at as a back-end first-round draft pick. So it helps when you're tall, good cover skills, and I don't know. That second thing seems like the most important part. Maybe not height. Remember, that's what they were selling us.
Maybe it helps when everybody else in the secondary is so god awful that it makes you look better that you actually know what you're doing.
Yeah. And the crazier thing about Julian Neal, here's the thing that some people need to kind of chill on. Where did he play football before he played at Arkansas?
I actually have no idea.
Fresno State. Huh. So, when people say like, oh, you went after, so-and-so and he played at whatever, shitty little school. Cool. I mean, they've had a couple of guys actually do pretty well that were from smaller schools. Don't ask me their
Washington.
Names. Well, yeah. Mike Washington's a really good example. I didn't think his what screwed up his recruiting was COVID, and I didn't realize that. Apparently, I read somewhere where they canceled a season of football or something, and he couldn't play, and so recruiters didn't have the chance to really check him out. And that's kind of how he snuck around. Then, he goes to a couple other, not P4 schools, and then finally ends up at Arkansas, where he could end up getting drafted. So we'll be curious to see what happens there. Hey, again, guys, make sure you like, share, hit the subscribe button. Sharing is caring. Hit the notification bell. If you guys super chats will always take priority. I'll put them up on the screen for sure. We might have time for some calls. Remember, we try to keep this at an hour 30, but if you guys want to call in, let me know and we'll send the link. How many receivers leave? We have a bunch of them. Some we'll see they aren't going to play. Yeah, you got a bunch. There are a bunch of receivers. You got to remember there was
Sissy,
Ishmael Cece. The Major League Baseball player whose name constantly slips my mind. I don't know why. There's just certain names that just don't stick, and I don't know why his doesn't.
Grandpa works.
Grandpa. He's definitely the oldest player on the team. That's for sure.
He's the guy Cal was talking about the other night in his comments.
Oh my gosh, I know. I debated cutting that out and putting the clip in here.
You got Jordan Anthony? It's Jordan Anthony.
Jalen Brown, Andy Jean, Cam Shanks, right? Ishmael Cece, who's these are all redshirt sophomores.
Yeah.
Jace Petty, let's see, Cross Johnson, Courtney Crutchfield,
yep.
Antonio Jordan, the kid out of Warren, 6'6".
I always switch his name up. Why do I do that?
Yeah. Monty Harrison, by the way, is the receiver. We just can't. Monty Harrison, I think we said CJ Brown, Omega Blake, not eligible.
I was gonna say,
No. Yeah, he's done. So they've got a number of guys. Yeah, Jacaden Ferguson's the guy that I think everyone's overlooking. 6'2", 6'3", 190-pound receiver. He wore number 5 this year. From Houston, Texas. Jacaden Ferguson he does not look like a freshman. He doesn't look like a freshman. But he was a 3-star, but he was he was a top 50 athlete in the class of 2025. I think that was from ESPN or On3. I'm not sure which recruiting service that was, but Jacaden Ferguson, I think people are kind of sleeping on and would like to see him come back. So yeah, there are a ton of younger receivers that'll have the option to come back. So, and we know they did, Well, they're gonna let these guys have the opportunity. I'm sure they're gonna try and keep some of them. So,
hey, Patrick Smith covered for you on that defensive lineman. It was Trey Flowers.
No, it wasn't Trey Flowers. Yeah, I remember Trey Flowers because him and Chris Smith were like around the same time, if I remember right. Chris Smith, I think, was a Petrino kid. It's
You don't think it was Flowers?
No, he was an interior defensive lineman, and he came out of nowhere. Like he was here, and then his senior year, he just exploded, and he got drafted. I want to say by Minnesota. It's like I cannot believe Armand Watts. Watts.
Oh,
there it is. There it was. I had to dig. I had to dig in my head. Armand Watts. Yeah, his senior year, he exploded. You also had, you had Dietrich Wise, who's a defensive end, Darius Philon. But that's still like we're talking about guys.
Flowers had the best. Well, Wise
Flowers was really good.
Flowers had a great career though.
Yeah, he did. He got a Super Bowl ring. Played a big role in that triangle defense at New England. He was great. CC made the most noise during the fall. He did. He absolutely did. And I would love to see him come back. He's like a scat receiver. Would love to see that guy come back. I really would. No one's asked for the link. I guess I'll share it anyways if anybody wants to call in.
Sorry is gone. Yes.
Yeah, Sorry's done. I missed the Bermuda Triangle of Flowers. You remember how good Jake Beckett was here his last year? I mean, he was clutch. He always had a clutch sack or hurry or TFL. I really thought he was going to have a good NFL career. I really did. Yeah, Sosa Agim was another one. Sosa Agim was good. Sosa was a highly rated high school player. Kind of forget about some of these guys, but yeah, I mean, you're talking about over a span of like 12, 13 years. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, I'd like to become, if you look at some of the better SEC teams over the years, go all the way back to the BCS era, they're just printing defensive ends, D tackles, like line of scrimmage domination, and they're printing these guys into the first round.
Yeah,
and I know Arkansas,
Georgia, Alabama do that.
Yeah, and I know Arkansas will never be that, but get something. We talked about Silverfield shooting for Mars. Well, I don't know. Maybe that's the task you put your defense with. Like, hey, we want to be like these other schools that just produce talent left and right, and hopefully they have the finances to do so. But it's also about development as well. Like, you can't just go get a 5-star, 4-star and expect them to be just that. Like, there's also the development side of things as well. Link is in the it's in the comment section. Oh boy. Oh no, Peanut Butter Posse says, "Hey Ty, I just canceled my Club Blue NIL subscription and got a membership at the Hair Club for Men." Are you How we feeling, BBN? How we feeling?
Oh man.
Coming on his channel.
Ooh. Not a good feeling down there, man. Or up there. Not a good feeling. Man, what a perfect. Is that our segue? It is our segue. Cope with Pope, baby.
Pope.
Perfect. You came in right on time, Peanut Butter Posse. Hey, we got a link if you want to call in, brother. He says dumpster fire. Dude, it's bad. And you heard me. You heard me, Posse. I put you guys as the favorite to win the regular season. Now, I know again, our fans here know it. We've heard it. I've heard it. This is all that gets pounded into my head when Kentucky comes up. The injuries. Fair enough. But my God, you guys are getting waxed. Like, you're not even in some of these games. What the hell is going on? I mean, that's like one of the most expensive rosters ever.
Oh, I saw best video today. It was someone compiled every turnover or air ball, and in between each one, they put $22 million roster. So it's like turnover, $22 million roster, air ball, $22 million roster. It was the best video.
Oh my God.
I think it was like 3 minutes long.
I don't even know what to say. Like, I think I might be the problem because every time I pick someone to do like great, or if I'm trying to put together, whatever, if we're just shooting the shit on the show, and I'm like, yeah, no, I like Kentucky. It feels like, boom, they just automatically suck. And it might be me. I don't know. Maybe I should just keep picking Kentucky to win it all. I don't know. And maybe I should say Arkansas is, not going to win another non-con. I don't know.
I was driving and I didn't have anything better to do. That's the only time that Prop Boganda comes on my radio ever. But Chuck Paganda, I think, said it best that they went and got an expensive roster, but they didn't evaluate whether the talent could play together.
Well,
so we got a whole bunch of guys with no chemistry, and their problem is they're going to have to develop chemistry midseason. And I kind of agree with that.
This was the same issue with Muss, though. You remember that? Like, Muss will talk about this. Like, you can evaluate the talent all day long. There's no way to evaluate if they could play well together.
Yes, and that's what happened with us with Boogie Fland last year. And what's happening with Boogie in Florida this year.
Yeah. So you look at this year, like, man, it's really the newbies that are doing everything this year for Arkansas. And then Brazil, like, off and on, hot and cold. You never know what you're getting out of Brazil. If you get good Brazil, damn, you might run these guys off the floor. I'll say this, man.
It hasn't been a good mix for Carter Knox, though.
Yeah, it's been weird for him, too. Yeah. I'm loving what I'm seeing. Like I said in my post-game Saturday, I'm loving what I'm seeing out of a couple of the bigs, couple of the post players. Ewan is, I think, starting to buy in a little bit. That's back-to-back games where he had a presence on the floor, and I realized that second game wasn't as big as the first, but Ewan is starting to put this thing together. And if they get Pringle bought in, he's got to quit fouling so quick. But, dude, Arkansas really could be a, like, legit Final Four contender. Because when you've got that along with these electric guards, you've got Knox waiting in the wing, but it's Acuff we're talking about. Acuff had the 10 assists. Acuff is, I don't know what his assist average is, actually. I don't have it up, but like, they're moving the ball and then they're a hell of a transition team. They rack up those fast break points quick. Like, Arkansas, just to me, if I'm redoing my power poll, and I didn't mention this to you, but I'd mentioned this briefly Saturday. We're going to revisit this. I've got Arkansas as the number one team on the power poll, and that's not biased. That's me watching these other games, not as much as Arkansas, but watching some of these other games. It's like these, I don't know, outside of maybe Vanderbilt and Alabama, maybe Tennessee. I really don't know what else to expect. Florida's kind of floating around in there. They've got some issues, though, outside of their bigs. I just think Arkansas is the best, most well put together team right now in the SEC. Now, that doesn't mean that Arkansas, and I'm not picking Arkansas to win the SEC just yet. We're going to wait to do that. Our picks on what they do in the SEC until before the game before they jump into the SEC play or into SEC play in January.
Yeah,
we're going to wait to reevaluate there. But I would say Arkansas is the most complete team, and I'm not saying it's not even close, because I do think it's pretty close. Vanderbilt has really surprised me, despite the fact they haven't played a whole bunch of great teams. But I'm very impressed with what I'm seeing out of the top four teams in the SEC, especially Arkansas.
Yeah, I agree with you. I really do think there is a little bit of a chemistry issue, both with Pringle and with Knox, and I think they've just got to get that figured out. Kind of trust Cal to get that done by mid-January, early February. I hope. But we are having a little bit of that chemistry bug too. But the trade-off of not having Knox from last year, I almost said it, Knox from last year and Acuff and Thomas this year, I'll take Acuff and Thomas this year versus Knox's last year. So
far,
we just need to figure out how to integrate him, how to get him, get the chemistry back together with him. The one thing I will say, somebody needs to sit Billy Richmond for 2 or 3 games.
Oh, 2 or 3 games?
Like, yeah, I'm not kidding, dude. Like, do not. You know what I see shades of with Billy Richmond? I see shades of the Oklahoma State game we should have won in football. I see Billy Richmond doing dumb stuff that's going to cost us a game when we don't need it to happen, just like the body slam in the Oklahoma State game, all those dumb penalties. He's just walking up to guys and just elbowing them. He's walking by and shoulder checking. Okay, I get it. You don't want to look weak. I do. I don't want to look intimidated to anybody. But at the same time, I'm not going to do stuff that costs my team a game. And if I'm ahead by 30, then I don't look weak anyway. So I still don't need to shoulder check somebody or elbow him in the face or whatever. No. There's just no room for that where he's at. Where this team is at, somebody needs to put him in check and be like, this is what happens if you can't get your act together.
And there have been games this year where you needed him, where you needed that spark off the bench. But at the very least, maybe he rides the bench for a half at the very least. But he's not the only one. Like we've seen Brazil, Pringle.
But even Brazil's happens in the moment. See, I understand Brazil. When you watch that play, the one that happened in that same game, the guy had his elbow in the back of Brazil's neck and was forcing him down, pushing him down. I get Brazil being frustrated in the moment. Richmond's just walking down the court, dead ball, nothing's happening, and just decides to check the guy. That's the stuff you don't have room for.
And that was I don't even know why he did that. That was such a weird thing. He just I didn't get that. Like what? I don't know. I saw that and I kind of thought the same thing. Like, man, this is not the first time we've seen that is the first time I've seen that.
Games for him.
Well, yeah. Well, he got ejected.
Game for Richmond.
Yeah. They're going to say Billy got back spasms. Oh, man.
All I'm saying is this team has too much to move on for, too much to work for.
Yeah.
For you to throw away games with dumb stuff. And no, he wasn't in danger of throwing away that game. But if you do it there, you're going to do it somewhere else. If you're so comfortable that you're walking down the court on a dead ball in front of an official and just do something stupid, then you're going to lose control at a time when you don't need to, and you're going to hurt the team.
Yeah.
I hate that. I want someone to get him under control. I hope Cal did this week.
Well, they've got some time, and we're sitting here talking them up. They do play Texas Tech on Saturday, which could be
a big game.
That's a big one. That's a big game for sure. This is
payback game.
It is a payback game. God bless it. It is. I really felt like that was. Oh man, I remember watching that game on the boat in the casino on the boat.
And, yeah, that's right. We were covering for you.
Yeah, you were, and I don't even want to say what I was saying. I won't repeat what I was saying, but that one just. Oh man, I lost sleep on the boat over that. I did the opposite of what you would expect. I didn't drink because I was angry, because I was afraid I might get angry and start popping off at the mouth. That's the last thing that boat needs is some fat giant, hooting and hollering and picking fights over Arkansas and Texas Tech. And there was some little short guy there shit talking. He was a Kentucky fan. And all of a sudden some Hog fans started kind of looking at him and giving him the odd look, and he walked out. But who knows, had I had a few, I don't know, whiskey sours or 8 or 9 beers in me. Get Travis Ford deep in some of them beers. Who knows what I would have said. I'm not a physical guy unless you hit me first. Even when I'm drunk, I'm pretty good about maintaining myself. But I lost sleep on that one. I was so angry on that boat. I wanted Arkansas to get back to the Elite Eight so bad. But hey, Sweet 16 after starting 0-5 is still pretty spectacular. I've still, that's just not something you see very often. Say it, Ty. Speak your mind. Wait. What part? Are you talking about what Arkansas? What I was thinking with Arkansas? Oh, it was. You don't want that. I'll have my channel taken away. I was fuming. I went to bed with us leading. Mom woke me up to say we lost in overtime. Why would you go to bed? What are you doing, Kyle?
Cost us the game, Kyle.
Yeah, way to go. Way to go,
man. Well, at least we know how we lost now.
Yeah, now we blame Kyle and his dad. I'm surprised. Drink more Monster. Kyle, drink more Monsters. What are you doing going to bed in the middle of a Sweet 16 game? What are we talking about? Oh, I'm going to lose more sleep tonight.
I just go to bed.
I had to wake up at 4 a.m. That's no excuse. Okay, that's no excuse. So, yeah, we have the link for you guys. We still got a little bit. If you want to call in, no one ever wants to call in. Come on, sack up. Call us. Call. Let us know. Hey, you're wrong about this, or I agree with you on that. I'll leave you the link again.
14 minutes.
Yeah, we got 14 minutes. Still plenty to talk about, though. I had something pulled up on Twitter. Oh, my God. Did you see this? Okay, hold on.
Oh, yeah, pull it up.
Is it going to let me mute it or pause it? This is Notre Dame. This is the Notre Dame AD. Did you see this?
I heard about it. I didn't see it. I didn't personally see it.
This was on the Dan Patrick show. I hope I don't catch a copyright strike here, but
fine. And this though, so are you guaranteed a playoff berth if you're 12 or higher next season?
Yeah, I don't want to say too much about the memorandum of understanding, but that's certainly been reported. That's out there, and what you said is accurate.
So next year, if you're ranked in the top 12, you're automatically in the playoffs.
Correct.
Okay. And everybody agreed that, like, this was drawn up by Notre Dame, and then the College Football Playoff Committee said, we'll sign off on that?
Well, it was part of the negotiations as we were contemplating the various changes that go into the committee and in preparation for the extension of the ESPN deal.
Help me understand.
Let me be clear. If you throw a 4-year-old hissy fit like a little girl, I would kick you out of D1 and put you in D2. I would never let you back into D1 again. What is this crap? We didn't make it, so we're not going to play in a bowl unless you guarantee next year we'll be in the playoffs. I don't want to hear it. No, I don't want to hear it. Get out.
it's crazy.
It's crazy.
Like, what are we doing? This is the problem. This is the problem with college football, college athletics. Like,
Just go ahead.
I was gonna say there's nothing in place that's just like, here's how it is. It's all based on, I know they're mad at Hunter Yurachek, and hey, we understand you, okay? You know, the 6'7" thing and all that. Silly. And I understand this pick here, but you have got to be shitting me. We should not be telling, hey, yeah, no, if you finish top 12, we'll sign off on that. You'll be in the playoffs. I don't care if it's a 24. I don't care how many playoff spots there are next year. I don't give a damn. That is insane to me that this is just out there, unless he's full of it. This just should not be a thing.
Now, every conference should be complaining about this right now. Okay, you're making guarantees to Notre Dame. We need guarantees too.
Well, you know they're already doing that though for the SEC and the Big Ten because of the buy-ins on the bowls.
I know.
So, like, it just further expands on the ongoing issue with college athletics. It's money, okay, but so is the NFL. The NFL is all about profit. I mean, of course it is. They're a corporation. Of course they're in it for the money, right? Of course they are. They'd be stupid. They'd be retarded if they came out and said this wasn't for the money. Shut up. Yes, it is. And for this to affect, this is the thing, is that people with money can directly impact the sport the way that they do, whether it be boosters, whatever. And this is an example of that. I think it's Notre Dame using their logo, the fact that they're a blue blood, and just no, we better be in the playoffs next year, by God, or we'll opt out again.
But besides the Manti Te'o years, when is the last time Notre Dame was relevant?
Well, I mean, last year.
Okay. The first year of the playoff, the first year of the big playoff.
Yeah.
But really, they haven't been a driving force in college football.
And even that year with Monte Tao, what happened? What happened when they played?
They got destroyed.
And they were better than I thought they were last year. And they were, I knew they would recover this year. I knew they would. Their schedule was, I mean, come on.
They don't play anybody. They don't force their football team into a league. Join a league. If you want a guaranteed spot, go win a conference.
Yeah.
That would be my response. Stop your whining, stop your bitching.
Mm-hmm.
Go join a conference and win it if you want a guaranteed spot. Otherwise, shut up and move to D2. Nobody wants you around.
And the crazy thing is, well, the money people want. I mean, they sell. They are a big name that does push the meter, all right? Like if Notre Dame is playing in a game, they're going to get eyeballs. But that's, to me, that is the problem. Like we're letting these teams dictate. That's just not the way this is supposed to be. And for the AD to be so ballsy to go out and just admit to this, I don't know. I would call for an investigation. I mean, I really would. And this is the thing, man. Fortunately, you have a president of the United States that I think most college football fans actually support. And when someone like Donald Trump, again, I'm not making a political stance here, but when you're appealing to him, like, hey, we need you to get involved, brother, I'm here to tell you that is not good. Not because I'm not an anti-Trump or anything like that. You don't want government to get involved where they have to come in and police this shit because you got some stupid ass AD going on national television and saying this stuff. Right. You don't want government involved. It does not make things better. Okay, it just doesn't. And I don't know. Maybe if they got involved, it'd be good for a little while, and then it would just turn into chaos. But it's chaos now. But I feel like we're slowly kind of heading to a place where it might make sense. But the problem is, it's just college football. There's no commissioner. There's no format or direct system that you have to abide by like the NFL when it comes to the playoff structure. There's none of that. It's just simply like, oh, that conference has a shit ton of money. Yeah, you can come in. Oh, no, you can't. And the crazy thing too is like I get the argument about these group of six schools. Like do they belong? Does Tulane? Does who's the other one? James Madison. Do they really belong? Are they going to actually do anything? I mean, who knows? Because Tulane, they've got Ole Miss, right? Is that their first matchup?
Yeah, I think so.
So like, who knows, right? Without Kiffin there, but we might want to check that before we go off the air here. But yeah, it's not good for the overall health of college football the way things are, and I think it only makes things worse. Again, when you've got a guy, I think most college football fans, I would argue, especially in the Southeastern Conference, they like Trump, and they're not going to push back on whether or not he comes in and is like, oh, I could take care of all the problems. Okay,
make this the greatest thing ever.
I can.
It'll be huge.
You're not gonna get a lot of pushback. I mean, you're just not. It's not quite UFC and Donald Trump. It's not quite that, but it's, I would argue it's more favorable. And so there's not going to be much pushback. And so it's going to open the doors for the federal government to come in and really shit all over this. Pardon my expression there.
The thing is, the model doesn't work for every sport. It makes sense a little bit with basketball. When you have 64 teams you're trying to slot, sometimes, you can get some of those mid-majors to come in and win some games they shouldn't in a 64 team field. But when you're looking at 12 teams, you need the 12 best teams, period.
Or even 16.
If you go to 16, you still need the 16 best teams.
Yeah, I agree. And that's what makes basketball great. And I don't want them to expand. I want to keep it at 64. I know that's on the table as well, but every year there's always some bracket buster. There's always something that happens. Creighton over Louisville. Of course, Creighton wasn't a huge shock, but Creighton over Louisville, in the first round. Who was there was one more. You had New Mexico, who's a 10 seed over Marquette. That wasn't a huge shock. Who am I forgetting? There's one team. There was another mid-major that. Well, I don't want to go through and look at all these. McNeese, the 12 over the 5 over Clemson. That was a big one. McNeese, but then they got smoked. They lost. Well, they didn't get smoked, but they lost pretty big to Purdue. But so that's the
larger point is the top 25 teams, top 40 teams. There might not be as much separation in talent, And that's why it works for basketball to have, if you're going to fill out 64, 68 teams, once you hit 40 to 68, the separation in talent is smaller than from number 1 to number 68.
Yeah.
But when you have to guarantee a James Madison a spot in the playoff, they're just not on the same talent level as Georgia.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
Indiana. I mean, they might be close to Indiana. Indiana's just got great coaching, but it doesn't make sense when your field is so narrow. 12 teams, small field, you need to keep it to the best teams.
Did y'all see the Fox Sports guys arguing after the Indiana game? I did not. The ex Notre Dame cornerback was giving Urban a hard time. It was hilarious. I didn't see that. I would like to have seen it though. No, twin. He said things can change. What?
Things could.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Me either.
It says build island troll posts. So we've got a burner in here trying to. I don't know what he's talking about.
Oh yeah, okay, no, yeah. He said get Kane Archer now, and someone said Kane Archer signed with Utah, be gone. And he said, no, he said things can change. He did say that, but he said that before he signed with Utah. Once he signed with Utah for the season, he's done. He's not coming to Arkansas.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, and who knows, right? Maybe next year he hits the portal.
Maybe he hits the portal and comes back. Who knows?
That's right. Well, you know what? Thank you guys so much for being here tonight. We had a packed show, so much to cover. There will be some Patreon content this week. I've got an idea for a couple of videos. I'm gonna try and get knocked out, at least one this week, maybe a second. Keep an eye on the Patreon, on the growing list of names in the transfer portal. That's going to be a big deal in for the Razorbacks at Silverfield. It's how you fill out the rest of this roster. I mean, it's such a question mark. Everyone's excited about the possibility of building an incredible roster thanks to the selling of Hunter Yurachek and definitely Ryan Silverfield. So now the expectations are really high, and I'm going to tell you, try not to overreact to all of them. Yeah, there's just a shit ton of 3-stars in the portal because the portal rankings are a little, I don't know. Some of them I get, some of them I don't, but we're going to try and keep you up to date on all of them. I'm going to try and lay out a pretty good, like a little evaluation sheet like I've been doing for the last 3 years for Patreon supporters to kind of build out who that player is and maybe what to expect. So that's all coming through Patreon. Ty, are you going to try and attend spring practices? Jeremy, I am. I only have access to Zooms. I do not have access to practice any longer. The university just told a whole bunch of people last year that nope, sorry, you can have a Zoom link, but you cannot come to practice. It was the effort by the university to try to. They want to really restrict. They just want to keep as much in-house as possible. I mean, I get it, I guess. Bring Drake Lindsay home, says Brady.
No thanks. Somewhere out there, Sam Pittman is eating a 12-ounce steak. I would say somewhere out there, Sam Pittman is drinking old cold beer and listening to a sad joke box.
I think he's probably having the time of his life, really. I mean, time to retire, coach. I mean, thanks for trying, but
he still can't get past the fans.
Yeah. And that's the crazy thing. We haven't seen anyone, and I'm not suggesting anybody should try, and I'm not condoning stalking the guy, but we've not seen any pictures of him. No word on where he's at that I know of. Maybe I know Chuck and Bo are probably still pretty close with him. I'm not sure if maybe they've mentioned it, but I'm a little surprised by that. I kind of thought by now we'd see some pictures and maybe a video. Maybe he runs into some fans somewhere. I mean, I know he's supposed to be.
He still hasn't written a note saying goodbye to the players and the fans yet.
He hasn't. And that's, I don't know. Maybe he's waiting on something from the U of A. I don't know. I was kind of surprised by that, but maybe he's going to wait till the very end of the season to do it when the champion is crowned. I don't know. All right, everybody. Again, appreciate you on your way out. Like, share, subscribe, all the fun stuff, right? And it does help the channel out a ton when you do that. Shout out to Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company. Same day services, quality parts, affordable outcomes, better than the best. 501 244-3667. Again, that's 501-244-3667. Same day services, emergency service 24/7, 365 days a year, free estimates down in. All you got to do is if you've got a door that's messing up on you and you're in Central Arkansas, give these guys a call or check out the link provided for you down below. Again, that's Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company. I guess we'll see. We'll be back on Wednesday. We don't have a game until Saturday. What time is that game?
Ooh.
Is that that's an early tip off, right? Isn't it like 11? I think it is.
Asking me that now.
Yeah, it is. It is. So the next time you see myself, hopefully Travis, hopefully he's able to make one. Maybe Tim. We'll be talking about Arkansas and Texas Tech. This is a huge game. You've got two of these non-cons left that are absolutely big. So you need to try and win them both. Obviously, that's ideal. At the very least, try to split them. But this is a good game in Dallas at the American Airlines Center with Texas Tech, who's currently ranked number 16. They're still really good. I don't know if they're as good as they were last year, but they're still a really good team. So, yeah, we'll get you guys all caught up on Wednesday between Arkansas and Texas Tech, and any other things with the Razorback football team. We'll also do that as well. All right, we will see you guys on Wednesday, 6:30. You guys be good.